Alrighty. Today's daf is 112. And we already made some progress yesterday, trying to kind of get to a good stopping point. So we are at Amar Abaye, which is about, let's see. Oh, wow, we really made a lot of progress. It's about 2/3 of the way down. I'd say about 20 lines from the top. Last word on the line was Abaye. So yesterday we discussed, and we're still in the middle of discussing, the idea of husbands and wives. Husbands certainly inherit their wife's property. But the question is, what about the other way around? Does the wife inherit the husband's property? Or is it just the children who inherit? And we had there were 5 proofs presented, which are five proofs which seem to indicate that that a wife does inherit a husband. And then there's one question: well, why do you need all 5? And it went through other possible ways that those proofs were not sufficient. And now we're at a bit of a digression. So let's see. And one of the key elements of this discussion is the incident of the Benos Tzlafchad, the daughters of Tzlafchad. He died with 5 daughters, no sons, and part of the resolution of that was the statement in the Torah that people shouldn't, or these women shouldn't marry out of their tribes, because we don't want ancestral property going from one tribe to another. So if a woman from the tribe of Reuven marries someone from the tribe of Shimon, then ultimately, if he inherits her, then the property will become part of the property of the second tribe, of the husband's tribe, and was viewed as not desirable. And actually, the Torah says they should not put themselves in that position.
The wife does not inherit from the husband. That's what we concluded
so far. Yes. Well, to be fair, there is a minority view, right? We did have 2 views, but we seem to be, the preponderance of evidence seems to be, as you say. Amar Abaye. Sof, in the end, if you have a woman who inherits from two tribes, and she marries into her father's tribe, right? So she doesn't violate anything. She marries into her father's tribe. What if her parents were from 2 different tribes? Like, it's not just the marriage that's the problem here. It's the parentage also. Like, why, once the woman has, if the woman already has property from 2 tribes coming to her, from her mother and father, then what does it matter who she marries? Like, we already have a situation where property is transferred from one tribe to another. Mishifta de ima l'shifta de abba. Her mother's estate will eventually end up in the tribe of her father, right? So the Gemara says, well, wait a minute, maybe not. Dilma shani hasam shekvar huspa. In that case, like, it's not her issue. The state has already been transferred because of the parentage of this woman. So maybe the Torah is so that's unavoidable in a sense, but we can still be concerned. The Torah is still concerned about transferring the father's estate. So there's more property that if this woman marries somebody from another tribe, then there's more property that's being transferred, i.e. her father's property, right? If she had stayed within her tribe, then at least her father's property would stay in the right tribe.
But she did stay within her tribe, right? She married someone in her tribe.
No, we're saying if she marries someone out of her tribe.
Right.
The Gemara says, well, first of all, if it's a woman who came from parents of 2 different tribes, then property is already moving, right? Certainly her mother's property is moving to a different tribe, so no matter who she marries. Even if she marries someone from her own tribe, but her mother's property is going to be transferred. on her death. Um, so like maybe the whole apple cart is already upset, and we shouldn't be worried about it.
But it's not her fault. I mean, it's not a good
Right,
word,
right, right.
but
So
she's not
like,
responsible. It's the money, the property's already been transferred to her father.
right,
So she's
right. So it's not her problem,
right,
and we're doing the best we can. In other words, at least she should at least stay within her own tribe, so that her father's estate doesn't also suffer this problem.
right.
All right. The Gemara. So Abai says, "Amalei." Abai says, "Shakar who's I'm not really worried about that. Maybe we're not worried about the mother's estate, um, and it's still a problem for her to like why would you say that there's a difference between the mother's estate and the father's estate? Amalei, or V'yamer Levashi, so V'yamer said Ravashi, Iyamras B'Shlomo Shafar Husba. It's fine if you say that it's all the mother's estate has already moved, right? And the Torah is only worried about the father's estate. Hainu mitok makra ben b'sivas haben ben b'sivas habal. So the pasuk which says you have to marry in your own, the woman has to marry within her own tribe. You can understand that as looking after the transferring of the land, both through the son and through the husband, right? Because if she has to marry within her father's tribe, then that solves the problem because then both her husband and her son are now within her father's tribe, right? If she marries within the tribe. Eliyahu Salomon and Shofar Husba, but if you say that we don't care that the mother's estate has already been moved, when she marries somebody from her father's tribe, my havas, so what? We still have this problem that her mother's estate is moving to her father's tribe. So um
Except that's a done deal. That was done the generation before.
right. But the fact that there is that she is told you have to marry within your tribe indicates that we're not concerned about that, right? Or the Torah is not concerned about that. It's like, okay, that happened, right? But the fact that there is still a prohibition for her to marry outside of her father's tribe, outside of her tribe, indicates that that's the only thing we care about. Um, so the Gemara says, um, so the menasvinan lo legavra davui mishifta davua. Maybe what the Torah is saying is not that she has to marry um, uh, just within her father's tribe, but maybe she has to marry somebody who has the same parentage type as hers. So the Legavra Davui Mishivta Davia, she has to marry somebody just like her, whose father is from her father's tribe, and whose Ime Mishivta Ime, and whose mother is from her mother's tribe. So then, so how would that work? Um, so the property eventually goes to her husband, and her husband is the same type of tribal ancestry as she has. Um,
But ultimately, what difference does that make? Because it's still going to stay within her family because her father inheritance is through the father. So her husband will be of the same lineage as her father. So it's not going to make any difference.
right, but the Gemara is proposing that the lineage remains I guess the lineage of this property remains the same in that, look, she already has property that is partly from her father's side and partly from her mother's side. And if she marries somebody like her, then that property will still belong to someone who has a lineage from both the father's tribe and the mother's tribe. Like it's not entirely
Yeah.
clear to me because like we really determine lineage, excuse
On
me,
the
through the
father.
father, right? Eventually
Exactly.
your mother's lineage ceases to matter.
Right, exactly. And if the
Yes.
Gemara proposes for how many generations it's going to continue, one has to find a mother from X tribe and a father from X tribe, and you have to be searching all over the world to make sure that this lineage continues for 20 generations.
Yeah, exactly, right, right. But the Gemara has a more basic objection. Ihache on the next Talmud, Ihache, if that's what you want to say, if you want to propose that the woman has to marry someone with the same lineage as hers from both sides, so hi lecha mimishmachas mateveh v'ima mivayle. The Torah should have said so, right? What the Torah actually says is these daughters of Slafran, they have to marry somebody from their father's tribe. Right? But if it means from their father's and mother's tribe, it should say so. It doesn't say so. So which is kind of another perspective of saying, look, it really depends on the father's lineage as we go down the line. The Gemara says, well, maybe not. Iksiv hache, if you had said mi mishpachas matei avia ve'ima, hava mina filu ipcha. I might have said that even if it's the opposite. What if the father? What if the husband has the reverse lineage? His mother is from the first tribe and his father is from the second tribe, opposite of the woman. Right, so that might have been implied, which frankly makes no sense. Well, I don't know if it makes no sense, but so Kamash one. So the Torah is telling us that it's the husband has to be from his father's side, has to be part of that tribe. So in other words, the fact that the Torah didn't mention the mother's side could be to clarify that the husband that she takes has to be on his father's side from the right tribe. Okay, I mean we're getting it's a little to me it's getting a little hard to follow here.
Well, then it would flip back to the mother's side, because the husband would now be from the mother's side, and she would be from the father's side. So the property would flip back to inheritance essentially from the mother's tribe. And then the next generation, you go back the reverse, and the next generation, you go back and forth through.
Yeah, I know. The possibilities become endless, right? Yeah, it's and to expect that this is the system, right? That you have to keep track of all these lineages on both sides and who exactly you can marry. Eventually you're not going to be these women aren't going to be able to marry anyone. All right, but anyway, that's the end of that discussion. Like I said, I find it a little unclear what the Gemara is getting at, but it doesn't lead us in any new direction in the end. Okay. Let's see if we can start this next piece. I guess so. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, so we had discussed before. Is the problem of marrying out into a different tribe, is that a problem for inheritance by the woman's son by her son or by her husband, right? So Tanya B'Sivas, we have one brisa that supports the idea that that the problem is transferring the inheritance through the son. V'Tanya B'Sivas, and another brisa that shows that we're concerned about transferring the property through inheritance by the husband. One of these two brises, Tanya B'Sivas, the one about that pins it on the inheritance by the son. So the Torah says ancestral property should not be transferred from one tribe to another. So the Brisa says, what's the concern here? The concern is through inheritance by the son, right? In other words, if you marry somebody from a different tribe, then your son is going to inherit your property, and he's going to belong to the different tribe. So so it gets transferred. So now how do I know that it's talking about the son? I know like just by marrying this guy, if you die and he inherits you, he's from a different tribe, maybe that's the problem. So the Brisa says, Kishu Omer Veloti Sod Nachalami Matela when the Torah says property shouldn't be transferred from one tribe to another, it's already stated. Hamani Mekayim Veloti Sod Nachal Matel Mate. It says it twice, basically. So what is the second verse for? It's talking about a concern through the son. So it's a little strange because it seems like like the Bryce is admitting that there's two issues here, right? The husband inheriting the woman or the son inheriting the woman, and they're both from the different tribe. Okay, but Tanya Idach, we have another brisa. And land
So
shouldn't
we're
be transferred.
concerned, wait, we're concerned that her son would marry someone from a different tribe?
No, no, no. If she marries someone from a different tribe, then what lineage does her son have?
Okay,
The
okay.
husband's tribe, right? So I mean, I'm not even sure what the consequences of this. Like, why do we care if we're worried about the son or the father? The bottom line is she's not supposed to marry out of her tribe because either the son or the husband could inherit her. So I'm not even sure why we're concerned with what to pin it on, which one to pin it on.
Exactly.
Tanida, we have the other brisa. Same verse. Property shouldn't be transferred from one tribe to another. It's talking about the husband. How do you know it's talking about the husband inheriting her and not her son inheriting her? And that's how the transfer takes place. So when the earlier pasuk says, it said basically a repetition, as we saw in the first brisa, land shouldn't move from one tribe to another. That one's talking about the son inheriting. So what is the second verse talking about? That's talking about the husband. So again, like, why do we care? I don't know. Like, why do we care which pasuk refers to which? Both of the brises agree that it's a problem in both cases, whether it's the son or the husband who inherits her. Land is being transferred from one to another, and we have two psukim, one to deal with each case, or one to give us a prohibition about each case. So, like, why do we even care which is which? But everybody
Even
agrees.
more so, once she marries someone out of her tribe, then it automatically goes to the husband or the son. I mean, it's a done deal. It doesn't really matter once she marries someone out of the tribe, the next generation or her husband. It doesn't. I mean, it's already being transferred to another. It's not going to go back.
Right, right. So that's kind of what the Gemara is asking here. Yes, everybody agrees. When the Torah talks about transferring land from one tribe to another, which it doesn't like, it's talking about like one of them is definitely talking about inheritance by the husband. My mashma, how do you know which verse refers to which? Which verse refers to the son and which verse refers to the husband? And again, I don't even know why we care. Amar Rabba Shela, Amar Kra, Rabba says, the pasuk says Ish. Ki Ish, what was the pasuk again? What was the Ish pasuk? Just a second. Ki Ish b'nachalas matevos of Yinchalu b'nei Israel. Every man will inherit his own tribe's legacy, right? But the Gemara says Tarayu Ish
It says
the
it
word Ish
referring
occurs in both psukim. So
the
again, we're still trying to pin.
The Rashbam says Ish refers to Naomi in Ruth.
Oh yeah, interesting.
Mashma bal kemo Ish Naomi. Kalomar b'sibat habal kapi kra.
Okay, Ish mashmabal. Oh, okay. Well, this is just a linguistic reference, right? He's saying the mashmabal Ish sounds like. I mean, the son is also an Ish, right? So the Gemara is trying to use the word ish to show which of these psukim refer to the husband rather than the son. But why Rashbam is saying, well, both of them are men. The son is a man, the husband is a man. So he says, well, ish, the term ish is often used to refer to a husband rather than a man. It means a husband, like ish Naomi. With the husband, when Elimelech is referred to as Ish Naomi, Naomi's man, meaning Naomi's husband, right? So Rashbam is kind of reinforcing this idea that Ish doesn't mean man; it means husband. Okay. But the Gemara says Tarvayu Ish Ksibuhu, but both Sukim say Ish. Like again, why would you say the one specifically refers to the husband and one to the son. When the Torah says "Ki yidbeku b'nei Yisrael," that each person should, each man, each husband, whatever, should stick to their own tribe's inheritance. So the word yidbeku, that reminds us of
The Rashbam says it.
v'davak be'ishta.
That's what
Right.
Rashbam says in Bereshit. Ish
Right.
isha v'davak b'ishto. Right.
Right. So who does a woman cling to? Not her son, her husband. Right. So the fact that the Torah uses the words yidbeku, that indicates that the verses are referring to the husband, not the son. But again, the Gemara asks, "V'tarvayu yidbeku ksibu." Both of them, both psukim say yidbeku. So that's, you're not answering the question. Elamar Rava, Amar Kra yidbeku matos. Right. One pasuk says, "Ish nachlas mateos of yidbeku b'nei Yisrael," and the other one says yidbeku matos. It juxtaposes those two words, so that indicates that how do tribes stick to each other? Through marriage, not through birth, right? So that pasuk is referring to the husband, and the other one must be referring to the son. Now Ravashi says, "Amar krami matel matecher." One verse says from one tribe to another. Uvein lav acher, who the idea that mate acher, a different, another tribe, a different people's tribe, that doesn't refer to the son. The son is like, he's not other than his mother. He's the flesh and blood of his mother, right? When you talk about taking a stranger or an outsider, let's say an outsider, taking an outsider, bringing in an outsider to your ancestral property, that's not referring to a son. The son is not an outsider to that legacy. The son is just as much a son of his mother as of his father, and belongs to both tribes in that sense. But the husband is definitely an outsider as far as the woman is concerned before they're married, right? So by using the word acher, that indicates that it is that we're talking about the husband and not the son. Okay, so I guess we'll call it here. Again, I'm a little mystified by that whole discussion, like what the whole point was.
Did we conclude which pasuk refers to the son and which to the father?
Well, one Brisa says one says the other. Right? We didn't make a determination. No.
No, I didn't think so.
Yeah.
Because then it says travayu, travayu, travayu.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. So have a good day, everybody.
Oh, that's it?
That's it for today. We're already halfway down 113. It was a short daf.
So we're not going to finish at 113.
No, I'll leave that to David. We already did a quarter of half of the first Talmud, so I'll leave that for tomorrow.
All right.
Okay. Have a good day.
Okay.